Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Kim McIntyre, and you can find me on the wellness space on Instagram. And today is the start of a 6-part podcast. So normally I do my podcasts and they come out every Sunday. But this week I'm highlighting all the different levels that we have to do with increasing our wellness, living our best lives. And so every day that I do a post, I'm going to do a podcast so that I can expand on the subject a bit more, because as wonderful as Instagram is, you only get a small space. I'm also going to just keep recapping during the week. So if you don't catch up on all of them or you've missed one, it will remind you and you'll be able to go back. So I've got my notes down here. That's why I'm looking sideways for you, those of you that are watching this on YouTube. So it is all about sleep. Now, I know that that is not the normal subject that's first in the headings when you look at all the things we need to live a good life, be well and healthy, whether it be, you know, well, whatever part of our wellness journey we're on. Sleep doesn't tend to be at the top. But for me, I think that sleep is the most important thing. And if we don't get our sleep right, then everything else becomes difficult. So before I talk to you about my evening routine and what I've done and my sleep, let's have a little bit of a look at the science behind it and why sleep is so important to us. So I've written notes because I don't want to forget anything, because it's really important. But sleep has a huge impact on our brains and our bodies. And it may affect you way more than you're actually realizing. So our bodies need sleep like our bodies need water. That's how critical it is for us to maintain our wellness. And I would just like to say that I don't say health and fitness, I say wellness. Health and fitness to me is much more aesthetic. Wellness, especially for ladies like myself that are over 40, like I'm 51 now, we on this menopausal journey, whether it's perimenopause, postmenopause, and wellness is much more than health and fitness. Wellness takes health and fitness to the next level, in my opinion. So, this is why I refer to it as wellness and not just health and fitness. So, getting back to sleep. So, our bodies need the sleep like we need water. So, super important. So, what happens to our bodies if we're lacking in sleep? And there are so many things, let me tell you. So, a lack of sleep. Well, immediately you'll know that you have this daytime sleepiness, that you're not as alert as maybe you are normally. And this means that it takes us longer to process information. Um, it can impair our memory. And for us ladies that are on this menopausal journey, brain fog is a massive thing and can be a huge problem for some of us. So if we're lacking in our sleep, we're getting impaired memory, the brain fog is just going to seem worse and deeper. And that really isn't what we want at all. And I do appreciate that if you are on a menopausal journey, our sleep gets interrupted. But when we get to the end of the sciencey bit, and I'm talking to you about my personal journey and what I've done to put in place, I hope that you notice that because I've put these things in place, actually my sleep has improved. So don't think, if you're listening to this and you just had the worst night's sleep ever and you feel like you're never going to sleep properly again, that isn't the case. Please don't think that. Like, there are things that you can try and you can play with to improve that. Okay, so impaired memory and brain fog. We do not want that. If we are lacking in sleep, our mood can change. Like, we can feel grumpy and moody, even when there's nothing particularly making us feel grumpy and moody. But the lack of sleep will have that effect on us. Our normal activities can be harder to do when we're tired. So if we are trying to be consistent with our movement, our workouts, going out for walks, um, having lack of sleep will make all of those things feel much more difficult than a person that's had adequate sleep. There is an impact to our health, like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attack. All of those things can actually be um, exacerbated with lack of sleep, which does sound a bit scary. And I don't want to scare anybody, but there are reports out there that show that if you're borderline and then you're not sleeping at all, maybe that not sleeping could be the thing that pushes you over the edge. So we definitely don't want that. Our weight can be affected by lack of sleep. So it has been said that you can put up to 5 pounds on just from not sleeping. I mean, most of us are wanting to not be carrying any extra weight. Now, obviously, that weight isn't fat. You don't put on fat while you're asleep, but definitely if you're someone that are used to going on the scales regularly and that's how you like to track your data, definitely if you've had a bad night's sleep, the scales could go up by 5 pounds. But please remember, this is not fat. This is just weight fluctuating because weight fluctuates. We know that. Our appearance. So we can get dark circles under our eyes. Our skin can feel or look sallow and sort of that grey appearance. And our food choices may be affected. You know what it's like when you have been out and you've had a really late night and then your sleep has been interrupted. The next day when you get up, you probably want to have more comfort food and maybe something a bit more stodgy, or maybe you head for like junk processed type food. None of that is bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever have it. Of course, there's a place for everything. We never ever come from denial or restriction. Everything is out there within a balance. But if you are trying to increase your wellness, then you want to be making good nutritional choices. And so having lack of sleep doesn't kind of track with our goals. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that all of the things that we do for our wellness all track us all the way along so that we're hitting those goals that we want to achieve. And we'll all want to achieve something different. And there's no wrong and there's no right. It's very, very individual. So that's kind of like the sciencey bit of why sleep is really important. And then I would like to share with you what I do, but I am not for any moment saying to you that this is the way to do it and this is the right way to do it. This is my way and this is what works for me. And I'm hoping that this week, where we break down and talk about all this wellness and all the different stages, and that I share with you my processes and my journeys, that it will maybe start a conversation, maybe it will encourage you to have a go, maybe you'll recognize something in yourself that you want to change, or it will give you the first step. But I like to approach everything as an experiment. I like to try different things to work out what works for me. And also, in saying that, things change. So what's working for me right now, maybe next year won't, and I'll have to change it. So please be really aware that what I'm sharing is just my personal journey. It's not, I'm not saying this is the only way. It's just this is what works for me. So my bedtime routine or evening routine, I would say, is shocking up until probably the last 4 months, maybe 6 months. Definitely in the last 2 months, I've been absolutely on it. It wasn't something that was in my priority. Like, I have looked at my nutrition, I've looked at hydration, movement, all of those good stuff. That's what I've been concentrating on. And I knew that I wasn't sleeping that well, but I hadn't really done anything about it. And I was struggling to get up in the mornings. I was having very broken sleep through the night. And so all of those sciencey things that we were just talking about, brain fog, making things harder, maybe not making the best food choices that track with my goals, it was all being impacted. And so I decided that I was going to use myself as an experiment and see what I could do to enhance my sleep and make it better. And so now what I've done after trying lots of different things, because you never stumble on the first thing straight away, you have to try the things. But what I've come to do now is that at 9:30, that's when I start to head to bed. And I don't mean that at 9:30 I'm in bed and I'm asleep, because that's not true. What I mean is at 9:30 I'll be starting to go to bed. So I will clear up anything that needs clearing up, make sure that everything is in place for the next day. So, like this morning, I started my day off food wise with overnight oats. So, I made them last night. Um, I will make sure that my earpods are in grabbing distance so that I have got them first thing in the morning. I don't have to think about it. I make sure that my workout clothes are in grabbing distance so I don't have to try and rummage around to find them in the morning. I can just put them on. Um, I will say that with saying that sometimes I just work out in my pajamas, because it doesn't matter. There's only me doing it. And if it's a choice between doing it in my pajamas or not doing it, I'm going to do it in my pajamas. So all of those things I sort out, and then I don't make a list, but quite often as I'm doing those things, I run through my head how my morning's going to go. So, I'll think to myself, right, when I wake up, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my breath work, I'm going to do my meditation, I'm going to drink my lemon water, I'm going to do my workout. Do I know what workout I'm doing? So on a Monday, I always do fitness Pilates. So in my head, I already know how that first sort of 2 hours of my day is going to go. And then I don't have to think about it anymore. It's done. It's out. I know. So by the time I've done all that and I'm getting into bed, it's usually around 10 o'clock. And I always make sure that I plug my phone into charge away from me, so it's not next to me. So I'm not tempted to get into bed and start scrolling or playing a game or checking out something that I really don't need to check out. That has had a massive impact. And I know that, people say all the time, oh, yeah, put your phone away, leave your phone downstairs. But you actually have to really work at it if you're someone that uses their phone for everything. Um, and which I do. Like, everything is on my phone. Because we live in a different country to our children and my parents, I don't want my phone downstairs, because if there's an emergency, I need to be able to hear my phone ringing. So my phone is set to do not disturb. Um, but I have a list of favorites, and if those list of favorites were to ring, then it would make a noise. But I put it over the other side of the room, so I'm not tempted to be looking at it when I go to bed. This also has a really good impact for me for the morning, because I generally, not this week, because I'm sharing things on Instagram to do my wellness and my routine. So you will see me on Instagram more than you would normally see me in the morning. But generally, I try and do the first couple of hours without even touching my phone. I may use it to listen to my audiobook, but I definitely don't go on my apps. I don't pick up messages, because I like that first part of my day to be quiet. It's for me to focus. So having my phone away from me has the benefit of, it reminds me, it's over there, I don't need to look at it. So it's a twofold thing for that one. Um, and then for sleeping, I found that wearing an eye mask really helps. I've always been someone that likes a room to be dark. I'm not very good if there are lights on. And in this day and age, we know that, if you plug your phone in, it can flash. If you've got an Alexa in the room, that could be having a light on it. And we know that all of these lights completely mess up our rhythm of waking and sleeping. We know this. So wearing an eye mask really helps, because it keeps everything dark. And I have just recently invested in a new one that has got like built-in headphones, because normally I would use headphones, and then I'd have to pull them out, and that would kind of disturb my sleep a little bit. But these are wireless, it's in the eye mask itself. So once I'm asleep, it doesn't matter. It goes off, and then I can carry on sleeping and it's not disturbed. And it's working really, really well. What do I listen to? This is always interesting. I don't listen to whale music. I don't listen to, songs that are all ding dongy music. What I listen to is audiobooks. And I love the Harry Potter series. So I have all the Harry Potters on my Audible, and I listen to them just concurrently over and over and over again. I know the story, so if I fall asleep and miss a bit, it doesn't matter. Um, it just works for me. It wouldn't work for everybody. It would probably drive some people completely crazy. But for me, I know that when I get into bed, I put my eye mask on, I press go. I usually have it on for half an hour, so it chats away, and then after half an hour, it turns itself off. If I'm having a night where it's taking me a little bit longer to go to sleep, then I'll press it again and get another half an hour. But usually I'm asleep before it stops. And so this combination for me really works. And then it means that when my alarm goes off at 6, I'm actually normally awake before my alarm goes off, but it means that I can then get into my morning routine. And it does, I know it sounds all very regimented. And actually, now I'm in the swing of things, and now it's not regimented because I know what I'm going to do. And sometimes I do things in different orders, like sometimes maybe, one of the children will ring me just as I'm about to get into bed, and so I'll chat to them. So maybe it's a little bit later, but generally, this is what I do. And that's the thing with everything to do with wellness. We can't expect ourselves to do everything 100% perfection, because that is not realistic. And whatever we do within this wellness has to be realistic, because life is going to happen to us all the time. And you will hear me say this over and over again. We don't live in caves. Life happens, and we have to be able to flex and bend and work with it, not against it. So, yeah, it's not as regimented as it sounds, but it does work for me. So I'm not saying that you have to take on my evening routine to get good sleep, but maybe there's something within my routine that you haven't tried yet that might help you, or that you hadn't thought about, which might help you. So I'm really hoping that that made lots of sense, that it really helped. It's been really good to be coming on here and chatting to you and being able to expand a little bit more on my post on Instagram this morning. So as I say, all week this week, I'm going to be doing a post and then following it up with a podcast, and the podcast will go live every day. Not something that I've done before. I am putting this onto YouTube as well, which is also something that I haven't done before. So come and watch or listen, give me a follow, like it, share it with your friends. Wellness is my absolute passion. I want everybody to be able to be as well as they can going into the second part of their life, or the second spring, as they call it. And, life is for grasping and enjoying. So let's see if we can grasp and enjoy it together. So that's me for today. That's sleep. Tomorrow it is going to be about sunlight. So come over to Instagram. It's Kim Wellness Space. And actually, if you're going to search for it, it is Kim's _wellness_ space on Instagram. Yeah, come over, see what I'm getting up to in the mornings, come read my post about sunlight, and then tomorrow I'll be back here on the podcast with a bit more information and explanation and telling you what I'm getting up to. Have a wonderful day.